All right, so this is an Arkin EP5. This is a Night Force Attacker. These are not the same. All right, these are in completely different categories when it comes to durability, reliability, and everything else. And I know there's a lot of folks out there, especially on YouTube and other social media platforms, that are trying to convince you that for a $500, $600, $700 optic, you're getting the equivalent of a $3,500 optic. That is flat out a lie, and I'm tired of hearing about it, and we got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Hey folks, Gary here with Paramount Tactical, and this is going to be a controversial video, to say the least. And I've been avoiding kind of making this video for a while, just because I try to stay away from the negative, right? And but I for the last, I don't know, 6 months, a year, maybe longer, I am constantly getting links sent to me, screenshots of YouTube comments of other YouTubers and things like that, and asking me my opinion on that. And I've said a lot of things in private. I've even talked a little bit about this subject in some of our podcasts, which, by the way, we do every Wednesday. If you want to come see us live and talk, we talk about guns, gear, training, politics, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We'd love to have you. And we have a good time with that. So, basically there's this idea out there that, hey, you can get this budget optic for the same price, that's as good as the quality, but for much lesser, thousands of dollars cheaper than whether it's Night Force, Zero Compromise, Zeiss, whatever, you name the brand, the premium brand, there is an equivalent of, in a budget optic that is, $600, $700, $800. Folks, it's just not true. And I want to talk a little bit about that. And I'm really kind of fed up with watching some of the outright lies that I'm seeing put out on social media about this stuff. Now, I want to give you a quick history on me and my, YouTube journey. And by the way, folks, you can kind of consider this a podcast. I'm going to be a little bit all over the place because I think there's some important context to this, and I actually want you to hear my point of view on this and why and where I'm coming from, right? So first of all, for those of you who don't know me, I'm the owner of Paramount Tactical Solutions. I'm a former Green Beret. I've been to multiple combat tours. I'm a former sniper team leader. When I came off of active duty, I actually did a year at 20th Special Forces Group as an instructor there. At the same time, when I came off active duty, I took a job with a federal law enforcement agency as a special tactics instructor. So when it comes to gear and tactics and all those things, it's stuff that I take very seriously, that I've done at a high level, at a professional level. I did that for a living. Now, when I opened up Paramount Tactical Solutions, I had a lot of folks telling me, hey, Gary, you need to start a YouTube. You need to start a YouTube channel. I was very resistant to starting the YouTube channel because I didn't like what I saw portrayed on YouTube, these gun tubers and things like that. I didn't want to be lumped in with that. Well, we continue to provide training, and that's primarily what Paramount Tactical Solutions did and still does to a large extent. And I'll talk a little bit about how we've evolved a little bit on that side of the house. But as a professional instructor, I was resistant to getting into the YouTube gun tuber scene. And then, of course, COVID hit. We're here in West Virginia. We weren't locked down very long, but there's probably about a 3-month period where we weren't doing training in kind of our prime training time, right? March, April, May, June, somewhere around there. So I had lots of clients saying, hey, Gary, it'd be cool if you could do some distance learning, something that we could be doing, while we're in this isolation time, we're locked down, all those things, right? So I made a couple videos strictly for our clients, thinking, they'd get 50 views. But of course, we got a lot more views, and the channel kind of took off from there. The other thing that I realized right off the bat is that people are less interested in training, and they're definitely more interested in products. I can put out a training video today. It'll get 1/10 the views if I put out a product review video, right? So what I decided after some time and trying to figure this whole YouTube thing out is, what I'll do is I'll do some gear reviews to get in viewers, but I'm going to try to push the mindset of, hey, training is more important than products, and I still stand behind that. Now, as the channel grew, I started having a lot of companies reach out to us and ask us to review their products, promote their products, or do collaborative work or whatever else. And for the most part, I wasn't that interested in. Now, at some point in there, I did do a review on the Arkin EP5. And I wanted to do an extremely detailed as much as I could. And I learned a lot from that video. And there was a couple other videos that I did that kind of established how I go about doing business. Basically, mistakes that I saw, or those videos were pivotal points to where I saw that I could improve on how I go about doing things. So I made this video on the Arkin EP5. I think overall it was extremely positive, and I think for, at the time, a $500 or $600 optic, I gave a fair review of this video. Now, right out of the box, this optic that I had right out of the box had over a 10% tracking issue when it came to the windage on it. It had some other issues too. And of course, I was doing that one review within about a week. I thought it was extremely positive, but at the same time, all throughout that video, I not only verbally, but also felt like throughout that video, I was conveying like, hey, I was comparing it against an Attacker 5-25 at the time. The end state of that video was like, hey, this is good. It's not a night force. Is this a good value? Absolutely it is, but it's still not a night force. And that's without doing a long-term review. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, number one, Arkin was upset at that video for me highlighting the problems, and they expressed that to me. Also, when they came out with new products, they were not, they weren't interested in letting me review those products because, for whatever reason, you take that for what it is. Now, one of the things that video made me realize is what you say and what you convey is not always what the viewer hears and sees, right? I think that most people took that video review as more positive than I meant it to be, I guess. Because again, even at the end when I did a summary, and by the way, I've since taken down that video because of this, which I think it had like 300,000 or 400,000 views at the time I removed it. I mean, I had people contact me saying, Gary, you said that the Arkin was just as good as the Night Force. I'm like, bro, not only did I never say that, I said the exact opposite. And I stand by it. And, by the way, since then, I've ran into other issues with this that would definitely make the review of this optic much more negative. Once you start doing a long-term review of a product, number one, this optic has definitely failed on me in very critical times. And on top of that, once you get out in different light conditions and things like that, you can see a huge disparity of optical quality of this versus this or any other good quality optic. That is just a fact. And I think sometimes that's lost. Now, I'm sure some of you are asking, well, Gary, why didn't you come back and kind of clarify the record and things like that? Well, I kind of am now, but the reason I didn't go out and like just highlight all the negative things is I intentionally try not to do negative reviews for a couple of reasons. And that was also based on another video that I did. I did a fairly negative review of a product. And I started thinking about, number one, people got really upset, and all I did was lay out objective things that were just objectively wrong with that product. People get upset about that. The company gets upset about that, obviously. And I think there's some I don't know, you need to be careful as you're doing these things to not damage a company's reputation that's trying to do the best they can. And by the way, and that's how I feel about that product. I think that product missed the mark on many different things, but I think that product was put out by a really, really good company. And I don't know how productive that negative review actually was. The other problem with negative reviews is that it's going to destroy your relationship with that company. You could have a great company, puts out a bad product, and then 6 months later, they put out a great product. So here is how I go about doing reviews because of these two things, those two primary videos, by the way. Is number one, I don't do negative reviews. And when a company contacts me or I contact a company wanting to review one of their products, this is how that conversation goes. Hey, I'm really interested in this product. I would like to carry it for our store, by the way. I would like to actually carry this product, be a dealer for you guys. But I don't carry anything that I've never tested before. So I want to test this product. And then if it's good, I will actually carry that product. I'll do a video review on it. And we'll be a great dealer. And by the way, we'll work with you on doing additional marketing. I like to work with some of our retail partners and help them with marketing. Being a good retail partner is beneficial for everybody. We make more sales, they make more sales, people get access to great products. They get informed on great products. That's the other thing that we do a lot of is like if we're carrying a product, we're going to give kind of an instructional, we're going to create instructional videos for that so that you're not only using that great product, but you know how to use it effectively. And, you know, we want to contribute to everybody's experience. It's a great product. We know that. We've tested it. And now we want you to experience that as well. Now, the other part of that email or that phone conversation is, hey, if I don't like that product, I'm going to give you feedback as to why I don't like it and what I think you should improve on that before that we'd be interested in that product. So, you know, we create a good relationship, and even if it's a product that we don't like at the time, it's something that maybe, you know, later on we could work on a different product or whatever it is. We maintain a good relationship with that company and give them a chance to improve. And then of course, in the meantime, we're promoting products that we have tested and we do like, and we think that, you know, you as a customer are going to enjoy. Now, why is that so radically different from what most YouTubers do? Most YouTubers are going to get in a product, they're going to test it, and, you know, maybe they have the absolute best of intentions. You know, they're doing this with as much integrity as possible. They're testing that product to say, hey, this is a great product, you should buy it. And by the way, down below is an affiliate link. And every time that one of you purchase that product using that affiliate link, that YouTuber gets a certain percentage back, whatever it is, usually like between 5 and 10%. So they're making money off of pushing that product. Is there anything wrong with that? Conceptually, no, but here's the problem that I have with that is that they have no idea if that product is being a sample of one, if the entire lineup represents that same one. So they're not within the feedback loop. You know, they just simply post that affiliate link, they're getting a check every month, and then, you know, they have no situational awareness on what's going on with the product itself at large. So I have a problem with that. What I do is, again, we're carrying the product. We have to look our customers in the eyes and we say, hey, this is a great product. They come in, whether you buy it online or whatever else. That way I have complete oversight of what's going on. I know when we have a product that is constantly being returned or constantly having issues, and we get rid of that product really quick. We've done this multiple times. Or we have a great product, but the company is doing things that I don't think are very honest, right? Or it's just not a great company to work with. We've done that multiple times. So we have oversight of what's going on with that because it is my integrity that's linked to that product. And I have a real problem if we're having a disparity in between product and what Gary says. That's an issue for me. So now, for better or for worse, that's how I do things. If we're going to, by the time you see a video review, I have already reviewed that product. I've tested that product. I have a really good idea of what's going on. I've already done research on that company. I've sometimes reached out to other people that are dealers for that company. Hey, what's been your experience with this? All of those things before we put ourselves in bed with that company, in that product. And that's just how it is. And by the way, there's some companies that we're dealers for that have like a really good product that we continue to carry. And then they have other products that just suck, that I don't want to be affiliated with whatsoever. You're not gonna see that product in our store and you're not gonna see that product on our website, and there's for good reason. Now, there's definitely some products out there that we haven't tested yet. Some people are like, hey, Gary, you know, I see that you don't carry this product. Is there a problem? No, there's not a problem with it that I'm aware of. I just haven't tested it, so we don't carry it. It's as simple as that. And I think that's the right way to do things, right? I want to be able to look our customers in the eye and say, hey, this is a great product. And by the way, a lot of our customers are law enforcement and military, along with, you know, more of the high-end, more experienced civilian shooters as well. So like, we can't just put a product out there and just sneak it by people and say, hey, this is great, when it's really garbage. We're not going to get away with that. And by the way, I'm not going to risk our reputation by doing that to begin with. So there's that. Now let's talk about the problem that we have going on in YouTube. Not only are there people, you know, promoting not just Arkin, but many other budget optics and saying, hey, they're just as a good attacker. Folks, that's just categorically false. All right. Night Force, Zero Compromise, Zeiss, Tangent Theta, which I'm not a dealer for, Collis, which I am a dealer for. Those companies don't just arbitrarily sell a $500 optic for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. They don't. You're getting your money out of those products. Now, as you get up, as you're paying more and more and more, your ROI on quality, on features and things like that definitely start to diminish, right? You can, here is a Night Force 7 to 35. It's $3,500, and then you can go buy one of our zero compromises, which is going to be about $1,000 more. You're probably paying for, $1,000 more for like 5-10% increase in optical quality and features and a couple other things. That may not be worth it to you, and that's fine. Zeiss, this Zeiss S3, I think it's one of the best values on the market. I think this is such a good optic for the money. These are about, the 6-36 is about $2,500, a super good value, right? A lifetime warranty. These are great. I stand behind them. We sell them. We use them on our student guns. Great bang for your buck. The other thing that when it comes to these top tier optics, folks, is the resale value, right? So if you go buy a Arkin or whatever it is, there's going to be a point where you come to this realization that like, hey, this, and definitely lower light conditions, heavy mirage, tracking issues, durability issues, all these things are going to, at some point, if you're serious about shooting and you continue to improve and you want to become a competitor or whatever else, you're going to jettison that optic at some point. Maybe you're going to sell it. You are not going to get your money out of this. These more expensive optics, they are such a better investment for the simple fact that like you can buy a zero compromise or a Night Force today. In a year from now, you can probably turn around and sell it for almost as much or the same amount of what you bought it for a year later or 2 years later or whatever it is. You're going to recover if you've taken care of that optic. It's not beat up. You're gonna recover a lot of your money. The fact is, as time goes by, the retail price of these optics are gonna go up, and chances are, 2 years from now, the retail for the same optic you got is $500 or $600 less. You can put it on the market and sell it for that and get most of, if not all of your money back. So that's another benefit of selling some of these more desirable optics. But I'm just telling you right now, like there is a significant disparity between quality, durability, quality control, all of these things between these budget optics and these higher end optics. Now, I'm not saying that these don't have a place. If you are new to shooting, or if you're a person that jumps from, one hobby to the next, I'm not saying go out and spend $3,000 on an optic. Maybe an Arkin is the right thing, as long as you're going out and buying that optic, not believing that you're paying $600 for the same quality of optic that's $3,500. Anyone that's telling you that is a freaking liar. I don't know any other way to say that. Now, here's the other problem that I have, and I keep getting sent all kinds of screenshots and everything else. There are people that are pushing Arkin and other optics out there, definitely overhyping. Like they're saying things about them that Arkin would never say about them. Arkin will never tell you that these Arkin optics are the same thing as a Night Force or Zero Compromise or even the Zeiss. They're not going to say that. You're not going to see that in their literature because they know objectively that's not true. The coatings, the quality of glass, all the things, the engineering, the test and evaluation, all the stuff that goes into building these higher end optics, that didn't get put into this. It's not to say that this isn't good, and it's good enough for a lot of people out there, but it's not the same. Now, what I'm seeing is people that are pushing these optics on YouTube, and when somebody says, hey, this is my experience, it broke, it didn't track, whatever it is, right? The person that's pushing this is now attacking those people in the comments. I'm very careful about that when it comes to defending a product. If I have multiple, and by the way, there's are not just one, not just two, there's hundreds of comments in multiple different videos like that from hundreds of different people. If I am pushing a product or I do a review on a product and I say, hey, this is a great product, we carry it in our store. If I'm suddenly getting emails or comments in a video or whatever it is, that there's a problem with that product, like most of the time I'm contacting this person like, hey, give us a call, shoot us an email. Let's figure out what's going on with this and seeing if this is like a one-time issue, if this is a user error issue. I would say probably like 50% of the time that someone is having an issue, it's just they're doing something wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? That just tells me that, hey, I need to make a tutorial video on that particular product. Hey, this is what will fix those issues, especially if we see a trend, right? If I see a trend of a problem that is just a user error issue, typically I'm going to make a video for that, because I want you to have a good experience buying from us, or even if you don't buy from us, buying a product that we have done a review on and that we endorse, more or less, right? I mean, we want you to buy from us because we're going to take care of you. We only carry quality products. We want to have the best quality customer service. We're going to operate with the most honesty and integrity possible. Those things are absolutely important to us. And of course, we're always going to push training. So products are great. Come train with us. That's what's more important than products. But people love products, and I get it. They want to spend their money on products. And now, you know, I would say that 90% of our revenue is on retail over training, when it used to be the opposite. We've grown a lot, and it's because of you, the viewer. And I just want to have this candid conversation with you so that you know what's going on. But again, when you have said YouTuber attacking people and or making response videos, with the initial video of endorsing these, by the way, there's no real testing. They're like, oh, look, I used the Arkin to hit 2,500 yards. Oh, isn't this great? It works perfectly. That doesn't tell you anything. Like, I can hit a 2,500 yard target or a 1,000 yard target. What you don't see is the misses prior to that, and you don't see if that's consistent. Like, there's just no testing done. You just see, and the same thing with the response video. I just saw a video today where the guy's like, oh, you guys are talking about these things aren't as durable. So look at this. He tosses his rifle down, he picks it back up and shoots a target at 100 yards. That illustrates nothing. That proves nothing. Like, you can do that with any optic. And this is all, to me, like a sleight of hand illusion nonsense to sell you a product or convince you of a quality of a product that whatever they're doing to convince you of that isn't convincing. It shouldn't be compelling to anybody. It's clear to me that these types of people don't care about integrity. They care about getting your money and selling you a product, regardless of how many people down in the comments are sharing their firsthand experience of a garbage product that isn't what this person said it was. Like, I would rather undersell a product. And that's why I end up taking the video down on this. Clearly, I oversold this, whether I intended to or not. What I said was perceived differently than what I meant. And that's just one of the things you're going to learn. I'm sure there'll be, comments on this video itself that prove that once again. It's still pretty wild to me that I feel like it can't be more clear on something that I say in a video, and it's turned around and perceived as me saying something entirely different, or even the opposite. So anyways, folks, that's that, I guess. I don't know. A $700 optic is not going to be the same quality. You're not going to get the same performance as a $3,000 product. I don't believe that any of these companies are overcharging you for products. They're making the best products they can. And that's another thing that I've tried to do, is I've gotten a lot of the people that are like heads of company and things like that to come on and talk about some of the things that they do that go into the cost of these products. You may think that it may be a waste, and you may never see the point of buying a $3,500 optic. And if that's the case, then this optic is not designed for you to begin with. Like, if you're just a recreational shooter and you don't need it to track 100%, you take care of your guns, it's not a duty rifle. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. If it's out of your price range, not because you don't have the money for it, because you just don't want to spend the money on it, and that's fine, chances are that that product wasn't designed for your particular use. And that's cool. If, like, hey, you know what? All I need is I need a optic that costs $900. I need it to do what a $900 optic will do. That's cool. All right. So I know that was quite the rant, but with all that being said, what I would tell you is buy from a reputable company. If you buy from us, and there's other great companies out there that are honest, that are going to treat you right, we're only going to carry items that we've personally tested. We do carry cheaper optics, and we do carry a whole range of optics in different price points. We carry Athlon optics, we carry Zeiss, Night Force, Zero Compromise, Collis. So there's a range of optics, all of which we've tested, we know work. And then on top of that, we're going to give you great customer service and technical support. If you run into an issue, because I don't care how good the product is, there can be problems. we only carry products that have a great warranty. So if you have an issue, let us know, and we're going to try to get that taken care of as quickly as possible. But I love the fact that we carry a bunch of products that I just don't have those issues very often. That's why we carry the brands and the products that we carry, because we just don't have issues with them. But if you do need customer support, or you need technical support, or something's not working, guess what? Shoot us an email, give us a call. A lot of times I'm personally going to call you back if there's an issue that somebody at the shop can't take care of or hasn't seen before. The point is, we're going to do whatever it takes to take care of you. Buyer beware, but until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.